Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick and I'm your instructor. Today we're talking about action is faster than a reaction. So when you read an attack, that means you have enough time or distance to react properly to it. All right? And in order to create enough reading time, you have to either make your opponent's travel time greater or longer, and then that's going to give you enough time to do something. See this all the time. You're standing here, your opponent's in front of you. They push you, and you're like, you wobble back, and then you're like, oh yeah. Well, you're still only that far away. If the guy can just go bam and knock your head off, you can't react to that. You can't read that fast enough. At least most people can't, all right, without lots and lots of training. So if you stay close to the guy, he can still hit you. So what you want to do in a technique like that or a situation like that is you're standing here, you're arguing with the guy, blah, 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 whatever, and they push you. Always go take a few steps back and then frame for whatever you want to do. So I'm going to frame with my hands down. So I'm going to be like, hey, what are you doing? Stop it, man. I don't want to hurt you, type thing, right? Now, if the guy's over there, he needs to take a step or possibly two. Your best read is going to be a two-step read where they have to actually take two steps. When we have time and distance, so if he pushes me and I create distance by stepping back and saying, hey, what's your problem? Now I got my hands framed low. I hope he pushes me again. I'm ready to block no matter what, but if he pushes me, hey, I happen to know a technique that I could do immediately off that. Parting wings, right? So, or what's the other one? Twist of fate. We could have done twist of fate too. But you want to step back to create some distance between you and the other guy, and that makes him come towards you. So now, if I was the attacker, and I'm yelling at you, blah, 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 and I push you because I want to knock your brains out with this punch, right? So I'm pushing lefty because I want to hit you righty. So, but if I push you and you start moving backwards, a one-step read is where he has to take one step just to reach you. A two-step read, so I'll go a little bit further back. So a two-step read, he pushes you, you go back far enough that he can't reach you with this one, so he's got the one step, and now he's going to try to hit you with the left roundhouse or with the left punch as you're coming in. So in a fight, your friend is distance because it takes him longer to cover that distance, and you could start to see what he's going to do. So if he did push you and knocked you back and he starts closing his hand and stepping like this, you go, oh, well, that's nice. He's lifting up his arm, so he's going to throw more like a roundhouse punch or a slightly overhead punch, something like that. If he pushes you and does something like this, you go, oh, okay, good. That's going to be a step-through punch, all right? Or if you go back far enough, you start to, if you do this stuff enough, you learn to do the reading, which means you say, okay, I created this much distance between myself and the attacker, so it's going to take him one step, or it's going to take him two steps. And this is pretty easy stuff. And this is the way you should practice your techniques, by the way, or some of your techniques. You don't have to do it all the time, but this is a realistic way to practice. So the guy pushes you, and you wobble back 1, 2 steps, okay? But he's already in a fighting stance. We were just standing there. So if he was left foot forward when he pushed you, if you're at a one-step read, guess what's coming? He's going to be right foot forward, and he's hitting you with the right fist. So that's just natural body mechanics for what they're going to do, all right? So if he pushed you with his left hand and you stepped back twice, well, now you know the left's coming again because he can't reach you with this one, so he's going to be coming at you with that one. And it's, by the way, it's coming really, really fast. So just because you took a couple of steps back, he pushes you, you take your steps back, he's coming. You know, it's not like push, oh, gee, the guy moved back on me. No. He pushes you and he wants to hit you here, but he's like, oh, bam. And he has to take those 2 steps to get to you. So It's still happening very, very quickly, but at least you have a little bit of time to see what's going on. All right? Reading is one of the most important things that we do. So if you can't read it, you can't defend against it, right? I'm talking mainly about fighting techniques, because if he's choking you, you can't have a 1 or 2 step read. He's already got you. You know, too late. You should have done it ahead of time. Okay. So primarily, I'm talking about all the fighting techniques, punching, kicking, that type of stuff. We're doing all those techniques is really what I'm talking about for distance, and pushes, tackles, that type of thing, where they don't have your shirt, they don't have your wrist or something like that already. Okay. And that's the other thing, you know. So if, just to bring up the tackles, because I just did, some guy pushes you, you take a couple of steps back, and you put your hands up here. Now he might try to duck his head and tackle. As soon as you see the top of his head, you know it's a tackle, right? So now you can time everything. It's not just pushing down. It's not just push, boom, and he tackles you. It's push. Now he's got to take a step or 2 steps to get to you, so that you can actually read that tackle. Side note, of course, I always do these. Remember, charging ram and broken ram are non-momentum tackles. That means the guy just pushed you and he's just taken like 1 step, okay? He's not running at you from halfway across the room. Intercepting the ram is the momentum tackle, all right? And that one you go for a ride. That's just the way that one works. So, but when you're taking your step back or 2, you're going to give yourself enough time or distance to react properly, and that's just reading. So practice like that a lot. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.